moving ahead to another very big important news about the NIA continuing its crackdown on the Hurriyat sympathizers in the Valley terror funding case. NIA conducting searches at 12 locations in Srinagar, in Baramulla and Handwara in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. And among those that who have been rather raided are the driver, the family members and the in-laws of Zahoor Watali, a Srinagar-based businessman who tops the list of alleged financiers of troublemakers in Kashmir. In fact, his business empire spans from Kashmir to the United Arab Emirates to Europe. It's spread across real estate and international trade also. And according to reports, Zahoor and his relatives have amassed properties in Dubai, in Delhi, in Chandigarh and in Mumbai as well. Well, the intelligence agencies are moving swiftly to choke off every source of support to the perpetrators of trouble in Kashmir. Kamaljeet Sandhu joins us for the very latest. Kamaljeet, the NIA, continuing with its crackdown after the recent arrest of the separatists and them being sent to judicial custody. Tell us a little bit more about these raids that are being conducted against this businessman and his associates and relatives.
Businessman, he in fact was also claiming to be part of the cross-LOC. At one point of time, he said he had connection with the previous government. Those are unsubstantiated claims. He's also name dropping as far as American politicians are concerned. But that.
All right, we'll just fix that audio there. But this is another crackdown against the separatist leaders in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, with the National Investigation Agency conducting these searches at about 12 locations in Srinagar and in Baramulla and Handwara districts as well. We hear that the family and the relatives of Zahoor Watali are also being raided. The residence is being raided. Kamaljeet, just continue from where you left.
Well, Zahoor Watali is a very influential businessman. He's known to be dropping some names, that of American politicians, of Indian politicians, of connections with the previous government. But that's not really cut much ice, and that is why raids across 12 locations in Srinagar, Handwara, Baramulla, Tangmarg. These are obviously on 3 close aides and relatives of Zahoor Watali. Also, Shafi Rashi, we've been told, who's an advocate. These are the people who've been now raided. His own driver, people who've been raided is in regards with terror funding. So obviously one is to choke this terror funding. The other is the documentation which would be recovered from these various locations. We've also been told is under scanner is Zahoor Watali's properties, and the family has properties from anywhere from Delhi, Mumbai, Chandigarh and even Dubai. So yes, that's a connection. They're also looking at how the money is being pumped into various channels, including that of stone pelting and militancy. But remember, Zahoor Watali, who'd been called in for questioning many times, even to Delhi headquarters in NIA, is not yet arrested, but they do expect that certain incriminating proof and evidence would be collected during the raids.
And this is all after Kamaljeet, India Today's damning investigation that exposed, the kind of nefarious and subversive activities most of these separatists were involved in.
Absolutely, Avantika. His 2 brother-in-laws, his own father-in-law, they've been raided now. We've been told they're looking for some documentation. And remember, this is obviously also to do with the cross-LOC trade. A man with so much influence who has connections in Jammu, in Srinagar, with politicians, separatists as well and mainstream. He's obviously trying to look for some sort of channel to have him a certain protection, but that's not really going to happen. This is obviously a crackdown by the NIA. He's already been summoned many times in Srinagar. But what is going to be important is whether they'll be able to connect the dots and get to the top of the pyramid of this entire stone pelting and terror funding racket.
All right, and with that, Kamaljeet, we'll have to leave it. Thanks so much for joining us. Now, these raids come after India Today's special investigation that exposed Pakistani funding of Kashmiri separatists who used the money to foment trouble in the valley. And now, under the NIA's radar, is this top Srinagar-based businessman who Kamaljeet was just talking about, Zahoor Watali. Let's take a look at this report on one of the primary Pakistan proxies in Srinagar.
Tracing terror finances, swift raids, arrests. After India Today's damning investigation uncovered Pakistani funding of Kashmiri separatists, the probe has now widened. under the radar of various proxies suspected to be bankrolling trouble in the valley, within and outside our borders. According to highly placed intelligence officials, investigators are closely scrutinizing the toxic tides of cash. The noose is tightening around all possible channels of the Hurriyat's dirty funds, one after another. Top on their list of suspected financiers of Kashmiri troublemakers is a top Srinagar-based businessman, Zahoor Ahmad Shah, popular as Zahoor Watali. The man in this picture is the mover and shaker of Kashmir's high society, known for his proximity to political leaders across the spectrum, opposition and ruling elites alike. Watali's business empire spans from Kashmir to the UAE to London. But most senior officials in the country's intelligence establishment disclosed to India Today Watali's multiple firms are just a facade hiding money laundering and terror financing. The man's believed to be the Hurriyat's money bag. Intelligence officials are poring over his every financial transaction. Watali is no NRI. He has not spent 180 days in a row required for foreign residency status. Yet he maintains an NRI account at a New Delhi bank. According to top intelligence sources, he received 2 to more than 2.5 lakh rupees every month from a Dubai-based company. Zahoor also maintains an account at UAE's RAK bank. He transferred more than 53.5 lakh rupees to his J&K bank in Srinagar in just 6 months in 2011. The source of these sums into his RAK account is unknown. Intelligence officials have found out Watali never declared these inflows in his annual returns. Further, a look at debits reveal large amounts were transferred from his J&K bank account to his construction companies, to wife Sarwa Begum, and to a medical college in Jammu. Zahoor Watali is seen by the NIA as a leading member of the cross-border network financing instability in Kashmir.
Even as the investigation by the NIA is being carried out on the issue of funding of separatist leaders, there are many businessmen in the valley who have been questioned. Zahoor Watali is one of those businessmen whose house was raided by the NIA.
Yes, the Kashmiri businessman is suspected of funneling enemy funds to keep the valley aflame. His properties were part of addresses the NIA raided in Kashmir and Delhi after India Today's scathing expose.
Behind me, this is the residence of Zahoor Watali here in Srinagar. You can see the people who are employed here outside the house of Zahoor Watali are not allowing any camera crew to enter inside the premises. There are few members of family inside the house, but neither the Zahoor Watali nor his family members. As far as Zahoor Watali is known, he is one of the famous businessmen here in the Kashmir Valley, not only residing here in this house in the posh area of Srinagar, but even he has the properties in different parts of valley.
Take a look at some of Watali's alleged top-ranking friends in the enemy agency. Watali also had ties with Sardar Atiq Ahmad Khan and Sultan Mahmud Chaudhry, the former prime ministers of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. This businessman's police records date back to 1990, when he was first arrested for allegedly harboring Kashmiri militants. He was taken into custody again in 1994. Once a car driver of Abdul Ghani loan, Watali is now believed to have penetrating connections in the ISI. The NIA is examining his deals, local and global, bit by bit. His accounts in Dubai and back home, what came in, what went out, all being sifted. Top intelligence officials told India Today they are probing his credit card details over the past 10 years. Zahoor Watali was not available for comment. He has not been formally charged yet. India Today ripped apart the devious designs of anti-India separatists in the Kashmir Valley. Now, the NIA looks set to break their financial backbone. Bureau Report, India Today.
And while the raids continue, Pakistan is ensuring to keep things boiling at the border. Pakistan once again resorting to firing and shelling on the forward posts and civilian areas along the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir's Poonch district, prompting the Indian Army to give a befitting response. Now, there has been reports of firing and shelling in the subsector of Poonch, with yesterday a woman also sustaining injuries in the Pakistan firing from across the border in Uri. Pakistan has violated the ceasefire 4 times already on Sunday by resorting to firing and shelling in Krishna Ghati area, in Nowshera and in parts of North Kashmir, which killed 3 Jawans. And now moving on to some other news. At a time when the language issue has gained immense momentum in the state of Karnataka, the Karnataka Development Authority has taken the anti-Hindi agitation further, with them writing to the Apple CEO Tim Cook requesting the company to adopt locally built Kannada fonts and keyboards, which according to KDA will benefit local Kannada engineers. In fact, the chairman of the KDA has even stressed that if Kannada keyboard is introduced in Apple products, it will help Kannadigas. The demand is to introduce Apple Assistant Siri and also localize the iPhone software in the local language, enabled to help the company grow its market in the state. The KDA has, however, over the last 2 months been aggressively pushing for an increased use of Kannada in public interface by even asking for Hindi signages to be removed from metro boards, blackening Hindi milestones and even opposing the introduction of Hindi as the second language of instruction in the state. Nolan Pinto joins us for more on this. Nolan, this is clearly the language war that we are getting to see in Karnataka, and that intensifying. Now, KDA is saying that it will benefit the Kannada engineers, but I'm sure that they can understand what's written on the keyboards, isn't it?
Absolutely. In fact, believe that this is all about taking it one notch higher. They went statewide, they went nationally, and now they've decided to go internationally. But the only difference over here in the letter is that it's not an ultimatum, but rather a request. They have requested, that is Professor G. Siddaramaiah, who is the chairman of the Kannada Development Authority, has in this letter requested Tim Cook to actually look into this. They say that if they could possibly redesign the cumbersome fonts and keyboards in order to help all the engineers over here. And he also talks about the idea of digital inclusiveness, saying that if it's in Kannada, it's much more better. It will actually help a lot of the people right over here. Furthermore, in order to sort of sugarcoat it, he expressed his gratitude to Apple for opening their manufacturing base right here in the state as well. But yes, they have decided now to go international, put more pressure on this language war.
Absolutely. Nolan, thanks so much for sharing with us all the information.